Hey boys and girls, this video is working on problem and solution. Now the reason we're doing problem and solution together is because they fit together like a puzzle. When there's a problem in a good story, there's always a good solution. I'm going to be reading the story and we're going to be looking at the problem in the story and the solution in the story. Here's my story with a little picture of our characters. I'm going to go ahead and read it for you. Sarah loved her cat Fluffy very much. He was a little brown cat who loved to climb trees. On Saturday, Sarah was playing in her room. She decided to look for Fluffy. She looked in the kitchen. She looked in her room and under the bed, but she could not find Fluffy. She was sad. She looked everywhere. Sarah was getting very worried. She sat down to make a lost poster, but suddenly, there was a knock on the door. It was her neighbor, Mr. Dan. He had found Fluffy climbing the tree in his yard. Sarah hugged Fluffy. She was so glad he was home. Now I'm going to show you on the next page what your activity would look like to practice and show what you know. We're going to do it together. So when we have our story right here, our first direction is to look at the characters and the setting. That's a really good first thing to do when you're trying to find problem and solution. You really want to know what characters you're talking about and where they are. So the directions say to use a red crayon to highlight or circle the characters. And then we're going to use a blue crayon to highlight or circle the setting. So as you can see, I use my red crayon to highlight Sarah and Fluffy because they were my two characters in the story. I know that a problem is going to happen to either Sarah or Fluffy. Then I highlighted her bedroom as one of the settings because that's where Sarah was and that's where she was looking for her cat. I also did the kitchen because she did look for him there too. Then the next thing, once we've found our character and our setting, is to find out what was the problem. What was Sarah's problem or Fluffy's problem? And we were going to underline that. Here I underlined the problem, that she could not find Fluffy. Fluffy was missing. That was definitely the problem in this story. She lost her cat. And then hopefully our solution is how that problem was fixed, which we're going to circle. The solution was that Mr. Dan found Fluffy climbing the tree in the yard. And I wrote it right here too. Mr. Dan found Fluffy climbing the tree in his yard. He brought Fluffy back to the house. That solved Sarah's problem. Her problem was she lost her cat Fluffy. Her solution was that Mr. Dan found it climbing the tree and brought it back. So let's make sure we did everything. With our red crayon, did we find the characters? Yep. With our blue crayon, did we find the setting? Yep. What was the problem? Did we underline it? She could not find Fluffy. Yep. And what was the solution? Did we circle it? Yep. Mr. Dan found Fluffy climbing the tree in his yard and brought him back. Awesome. We did it right. All right. Now you're going to practice on your own, boys and girls. Good luck.